Okay, so today we're checking out some Wi-Fi intrusion detection. So I kind of went down a Google, YouTube rabbit hole and started checking out WIDs and WIPs because I had played around with IDS, Snort, and Suricata and IPS mode as well. And I found it really fascinating that there's a Wi-Fi equivalent. So I found this SANS document that went into some of the syslog output that would be interesting to look at to have this functionality, and also wikied it and saw all this information. And I'm going to focus right now on the client misassociation because that's something I know we can do with the equipment I have on hand. So instead of downloading some of the open source software that's referenced, I wanted to see what I could do with what I already run at home. So going into the Unifi controller here, unfortunately I have to blur everything out, but it's showing you that Unifi is logging clients associating and disassociating with the Wi-Fi access point. So we're going to go into system settings and go into controller configuration, remote logging, and we're going to set it up so that the Unifi controller, which is also grabbing my AP6 Lite, great AP by the way, information, and we're going to send that over to a Splunk instance I run at home. So now that it's pointing to Splunk, we're going to create a quick dirty app here because you want its own little app so that things like the inputs.conf and props.conf that get generated over time goes into that folder structure. So we'll just do a quick, Unifi for the name. And I just kind of want to give it a TA designation, a technology add-on. And you have to type in 3 digits for version or it'll error out. And we're going to make it not visible. We don't want it to be shown to the left side. And again, I don't fully know what I'm doing. I don't know why you're watching this channel, but we're just going to keep marching on. Going to save, and we're going to do the data input. So we're going to go into data inputs and tell Splunk to listen to the port that we had just specified in Unifi to output on. Also, quick note, make sure your firewall logs are set up to allow this traffic on both the Splunk instance and anything else in between. So I had already created a 10.514 for this, and I feel like I kind of did something that wasn't best practice. And what I did is I created a new source type because I'm so used to like rolling my own. And then I realized, Splunk probably has some good pre-trained syslog field extractions. So I went to their website, and yeah, there is a lot. So I decided to redo what I had done. And instead of creating a custom source type like Unifi access point, Unifi underscore AP here that I'm doing, instead deleted it, go to make a new local UDP. And this time I'm just going to use the pre-learned syslog source type. Spoiler alert, it didn't do much more. I was really hoping it would grab a lot of stuff. It did make not having to grab the MAC address with regular expression inside the SPL. It did grab that automatically. So that there's a pro right there. But it wasn't a big deal to, grab the MAC with regex anyways. So here we're just messing around, specifying index. And if you don't have a special, it's nice to compartmentalize things in indexes. So you can always add a new index from that menu if you hadn't created it already. Here's a really good example of a great technology add-on, pfSense TA, where the transforms and the props.conf do a great job of normalizing the information and extracting fields. So this is why we wanted to make a Unifi app so that any type of changes we make go into its own folder structure. And for example, we do need to make a props.conf file because you do need to input these stanzas here so that the time extractions, or rather the line breaks that occur with the time extractions as well, works properly, so that without doing that, all Splunk's going to think all the time stamps are happening at the same time, and it's going to be horrible. So now we're getting data in, and again, unfortunately, I have to blur so much stuff out because it's just horrendous amount of MAC addresses. But you can see that we were getting Unifi data in, and now I'm using some SPL to try to find instances where a deauth attack might have happened. So we're looking for disassociated and then associated. There's some regex to get the MAC address, and we're doing a transaction in SPL so that you can get what I just showed there after some events, some testing I did. So we're going to jump into Kali Linux and do a de-auth attack where you're trying to grab the hashed password that gets exchanged to authenticate with Wi-Fi. And now you can see we have an event showing up due to this transaction of looking at this deauth and auth for the same MAC address within the certain time span and a certain event count, because that'll help tune for noise, versus random clients falling on and off the network. Like if you walk away from your AP and walk back, and you see that save as drop down, you can save it as a dashboard panel and then do like really cool visualizations, like have a count or a trend line or anything like that. But you can also save it as an alert. And so if you're running a dev license or enterprise license and you set up the cloud app so that your Splunk instance can send alerts and dashboard information to your smart device, like your Android phone or iPhone, you can actually get an alert on your phone. So you're going to go to the top right here, and I saved as an alert. And shout out to Jomatech for his lo-fi channel. Love listening to it. You can see here I did a lot of testing and got a lot of alerts. And in the top left of my screen, you can see that alert just came in. I'm going to drag down. You can see de-auth attack is what I labeled it. And so again, this is WIDS, not prevention. And this would tell me if this really happened in real life to possibly change my password as soon as possible, because now that's been the hash has been grabbed and it can be brute forced later. So hope you liked it. Hope it was a little bit informative. And I'm going to start digging into the other Wikipedia attack methods that were shown and dig into more of the logs and try to make to scale out more capability of WIDS using all this free software that if you're an enthusiast, you might already be running or tempted to start running. And I highly recommend pfSense, which is what I'm using as the firewall and router. And the Unifi hardware is pretty excellent, pretty well documented as far as getting the logs in and then out to a syslog server, which is Splunk in this case. All right, hope you enjoyed and have a nice day.